Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So my name is Elizabeth Kafaru and I'm a UI UX designer. So today we are going to be looking at opportunities in tech. Tech space is very wide and we have different opportunities that you can explore, different skills you can learn in tech. So I'm going to be starting with, I can't talk about everything because it's wide. So maybe let's make this a part one video. So the first opportunity I'll be talking about is business analyst, right? So who is a business analyst? A business analyst work with a UI UX designer. So if you are looking at learning UI UX design, you will be working with a business analyst. So a business analyst will give you a UI UX design. He or she is going to give you something they call a business requirement document, BRD. So this BRD consists of a case study, use case, and breaking down the uh, breaking down the product that you'll be building or the business that you'll be building into um, understanding problems that organization can understand, and also identifying opportunities, deliver solutions that improve processes, product services, or software systems. So a business analyst, as I said earlier, a business analyst use case study, user stories, and all that to, to maintain process maps, workflows, and system and diagrams. So if you're looking into being a business analyst, I'm going to give you a roadmap into business roadmap for a business analyst later on. So I'm going to also be talking about product management in this video. So we have product manager. A product manager is a product owner. He ensures that he coordinates this product from beginning to end. He ensures that the product is useful, the product is usable, right? So he owns the product from start to finish. So if you are considering product management, I'm also going to do a roadmap on the what you should learn. So most product managers, they already understand the user experience of a product. So the reason why they understand the user experience is because to ensure that the product is useful, as I've said earlier. Who is a project manager? A project manager is somebody that coordinates a project. Ever wondered if you have worked on a project before, or if you have worked in a company and they use softwares like Slack, softwares like Zoho Sprint, software like Airtable, like Trello, like Jira? They use all those things to ensure that you work. Some even use, before now, they use Microsoft Excel. They use all these things to ensure that we track um, the progress of the team. So that is why all these softwares are being used. So if project manager ensures that you use all these things, it tracks progress and ensures that projects are done on time, right? So if you have been, I know I've said this before in one of my teachings, that if you have been an HOC, if you are in your university days, you've been an HOC before, head of class, you've also done class captain when you were in secondary school or even primary school, then you have this leadership capability, you have this thing for leadership, then you can consider project management. So you organize projects from start to finish, right? So you know what and what, you track progress, and ensuring that you also meet up deadlines. So I'll also be talking about UI UX design. UI UX design is also known as product design, but product design is more wider. In fact, UI UX design is wide. In UI UX, we have visual design, we have UI design, you have UX design, you have user researcher, you have UX writer. So all those things I'm going to be discussing then when I'm going to be talking about UI UX alone, right? And including the roadmap for UI UX design. So a UI designer, when you want to work, I told you earlier that you work with business analysts, where you work with business analysts and you get something they call the business requirement documents that have already user stories and use cases. And those are what you read, and also meeting with stakeholders so you'll be able to know what and what to design, right? Designing is broad. Designing is not just designing animations, mixing colors, and all those things. It's beyond that. So, UI UX design is solving problems, right? Then before you start design, you need to carry out the user research, you need to do user persona, you need to do user story, journey map, storyboard, information architecture, site map or user flow. You need to do all of those things. You need to ensure you need to do wireframing, prototyping, hi-fi, lo-fi. Before you even need to do a user testing to ensure that your product is useful and usable at the same time. You won't want to build a product that is beautiful but then is useless. So if you're considering UI UX design, then do you love solving problems, right? Do you love designing realistic products, right? It's not just designing unrealistic products. Example of an unrealistic product is when you're adding over on mobile, right? So over is on web. You need to understand how web work. You need to understand how mobile interface, web interface works. You understand? You need to understand how Android, how iOS work. So if you love this, I'm going to do a UI design roadmap as well for in another video. Then also we have front-end development. So a front-end developer uses an HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and I think Vue or Angular as a framework. And also uses you also have to know how to use VS Code, so version control, GitHub. So on HTML, you have to know how to use HTML. HTML is not a programming language, it is an hypertext markup language. So you learn that, right? So I normally like to use this analogy. So HTML, the analogy is that HTML is a skeleton, right? In human body, we have skeleton, right? So HTML is a skeleton. CSS is not also a programming language. CSS is a cascading style sheet, and it is used to style the skeleton human body. For example, the eyebrows, my skin color, my fingernails color, my all the colors in my body right now. We have different complexion, light, skin, dark skin, all those things are like style sheets, CSS. Then JavaScript is a programming language. It is when you now learn how to, move my hand, the way I talk now, the kinetic energy, the energy in motion, that is JavaScript. Do you understand? So, and then you can now React is a library, React, then Angular framework, and you know, every necessary things like that. So you don't really use a lot of programming language, right? So you ensure that once the UI UX designer or the product designer has handed over the project to you, you ensure that you do the UI, you build the UI. So that is the work of the front-end developer, and the back-end developer are people who build database, API. If you enjoy coding a lot, you can learn back-end because you're going to be using a lot of programming language, PHP, Python, and all that. So if and one beautiful thing about programming languages, once you know one, you can know any other programming language. The only difference is the syntax because you already have an idea of how programming language works. So, and another beautiful thing I would like to tell you is if you do not know mathematics, you can still learn programming language because you like mathematics. But if you do not like mathematics, that is where the problem is. I don't think you will have interest in learning programming language because in programming language you do logic, you do Boolean, true or false, you're going to be doing some mathematical terms and calculations and things you need to know, you get. So if you do not like it, you just like you're forcing yourself to do it and you might not know it, end up knowing it at the end of the day. So um you can also learn full stack development. Full stack development is the combination of both front end and back end development. So then we also have mobile app development. You can consider mobile app development. So being a mobile developer is when you want to learn how to develop using um um you want to learn how to be Android mobile developer or iOS or both, where you use Android Studio. You can also learn React Native. You can also use that's Flutter. So I'm going to be doing a roadmap to everything here in tech. So then another one, we also have a QA tester, quality assurance testing. You can learn that as well. That is testing and fixing bugs. Ensure that you're testing and ensuring that you're bringing out bugs so that developers can fix. It's another thing for you to design, to develop, and it's another thing for you to see bugs. You might not know that something is not working, right? So that is the role of a QA tester, to tell you that this thing is not working. So then you check it out and fix the bug. So before this mobile application and all those things, before they are available on your operating system, that's iOS and Android, QA testers has already done a lot of warning before they are now accepted to be on Google Play Store, right? So that is the one of the work or one of the role of a QA tester. Then we also have other tech. Let me just mention, we also have data analytics. That's a data analyst, right? So you can also learn how to be a data analyst. And a data analyst, they analyze data, they use spreadsheets. Example, they use Google Excel, they use Microsoft Excel as well. They collect data, they organize data, they clean and also interpret data to extract useful insights. So they help, a data analyst help business answer questions like who are top customers, what's causing our sales to drop, and which products perform best in which region as well. So they analyze data, and I've said earlier that they use spreadsheet like Microsoft Excel or Google Sheets. So then they also use database like SQL, they use visualization like Power BI as well. Who is a data scientist? Let's discuss data science now. Have you ever heard of ChatGPT, the popular ChatGPT, right? So that is the work of um, a data scientist. So they use programming language and mathematical, that's programming language to build a machine. They do machine learning. So you now interact with the machines, right? So you interact with machines. They use data to make predictions. They build models. They use Python as well. Data science has been more useful, right? Machine learning has been very, very useful. And have you ever done interviews where it is you're interacting with HR and the HR is not human? The HR is both. I've done it before. My interview was interacting with a bot. It was answering a question. I was answering and interacting throughout the interview, and that was it. So if you love things like that and you love mathematics a lot, then you can consider going into machine learning. You also be using Python as well. So let's talk about cybersecurity as well. Cybersecurity is on protecting data, right? So if you don't like when people hack, like me, I don't like when people hack another person's WhatsApp and social media, right? So if in fact, I don't like when people get scammed. So if you have interest in those things, you can learn cybersecurity, ensuring that they attend to attacks on computers, incident response, and all that. So that is majorly cybersecurity. And if you're considering learning cybersecurity, do not get a MacBook. Get Windows like Dell, HP, and the likes. Let's talk about digital marketing as well. The digital marketer one advertise market on social media using social media ads, Facebook ads, Instagram ads, Google ads, right? So to increase sales, boost sales, right? So if you love marketing, you can consider learning social media digital marketing rather. So they also do WordPress, right? So from landing pages as well. That's WordPress. They used to build just simple websites and all that. So if you love all those things, then you can consider digital marketing. Yeah, I'll also be discussing technical writing. With a technical writer, you love to write, you can write about you can write manuals, content manuals about on how to fix these bugs or on tech generally. So or on project management, and product management, product design. You can decide to write tech books, right? And if you generally love writing, you can learn about this and consider this. Let's also talk about graphic design. Have you ever seen flyers? You've seen logos, and you love these logos. You can consider being a graphic designer because they also do motion design. You see all these companies advertise their products using motion graphics, so you can consider that as well. So you mix colors to color, you do logos, log drawing, and all those things. You use Adobe Illustrator, Adobe Photoshop, or CorelDRAW. You can even start by using Canva, right? So, if you love things like that, you can consider being learning graphic design. You can also consider learning visual design. That's visual design is just like learning only the UI part of websites, mobile application. You don't need to do the UX user experience part, just the user interface part. So the brand design, you can also learn brand design. Also, brand design is the face of a company. They they do storytelling of the company, the logo, they are the face, the shape of the company, the color of the company, how the company. You know, when you hear, when you see um, a diagram like apple, what comes to your mind? This is an Apple product, right? When you see Windows, you know what comes to your mind. So, the people that do things like that, they are brand designers. So, if you love to use your diagrams, colors, and everything to tell the face of a brand, then you can consider brand design. Then you also have creative design. Creative design is more like all-in-one design. You design everything. They design um, logos. Um, they're just being creative. They go into all-in-one design, logos, um, banners, flyers, everything. So they're just being creative. Tell a creative designer, I want to do this. They will do it. So that is creative design. So we're talking about illustrator, 3D artist. They draw 3D animations and also pictures, right? So cartoon and all those things, or even 3D mode cars and vehicles, cars, beautiful cars. You know, companies use all these things to advertise their products.
Okay, guys, so which of these skills will you consider learning? Please let me know in the comment section. Thank you.